Welcome to the Plant-Based Podcast. Did you know that plants are truly amazing? Not only can you grow them and eat them, you can also wear them, drink them, nourish your skin with them, and so much more. Let Ellen and Michael inspire you to love plants as much as they do, as they chat with the movers and shakers in this wonderful plant-based world. So, let's dig in.
This episode of the Plant-Based Podcast is brought to you by our friends at Cobra. The Cobra range of garden machinery is constantly expanding and offers the UK's largest range of lawnmowers. With a comprehensive lineup of quality and innovative petrol, electric, battery and cordless products to tackle any gardening task, Cobra is the newest evolution in garden machinery. Visit cobragarden.co.uk for your chance to win a variety of great Cobra products.
With the dimensions of an aircraft hangar, Sterling Suffolk cultivates more than 150 million tomato plants every year. And this is all in glasshouses designed to produce more fruit using less energy. They're really putting Suffolk on the map as a major producer of vine tomatoes. We're here today with Horticultural Director Richard Lewis, and we're going to talk to him about the tomato growing that covers the space of 11 football pitches with tomatoes that are ripe after just 10 weeks. And we're going to pick up a lot of tips for you to help you grow them at home as well. So, welcome.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
It's great to have you here.
Oh, thank you.
So we've already had obviously a little walk around. We've walked in and seen these amazing vine tomatoes,
and hopefully a taste and hopefully you like them.
We tasted
a couple.
It's dripping
down her toplet.
I just wiped that way. Michael even had some and enjoyed them, being a non-tomato
for
lover.
A tomato hater,
yeah. So that's pretty cool.
It's good.
And walking around, it just. I mean, how do you even begin? This hasn't been here that long, has it? So, how did it begin?
Yeah, I don't want to give you a too long a story, but the original concept came from a guy called Cliff Matthews, who he was the project manager here, and he was actually the project manager for a company called Suez. A waste incinerator that's not far away from us, and he was tasked with getting rid of waste heat. Mm-hmm. So he approached two local landowners. They bought into the idea of putting up a glasshouse and taking this waste heat. Planning consent was sought and gained.
But hang on, not just any old glasshouse.
No. At that point, it was a glasshouse.
Okay, just a glasshouse.
So at that point, it was a glasshouse.
Right.
Problem was that it didn't quite work out with Suez. So the three remaining people, which is Cliff and the two landowners, decided to let's go it alone, which was quite brave. They weren't tomato growers,
right?
So they needed the help of a marketeer. So a marketing company was brought on board, but that doesn't work without a grower, which is where I come in. So my previous life, I was head of growing for a company called Stubbins Marketing. I was looking after quite a large area, around 50 hectares of glass all around the UK, which included our intake growers as well as our own glasshouses, growing a number of products. Mm-hmm. So I came on board, finance was sought. When I came on board though, I started to look at the design, because what really attracted to me was blank piece of paper, and got planning consent, but what can we do with it? So I can only liken it, what we built here, to back in the late 80s, I had a Pioneer stereo system, and I chose the tape deck I wanted, which I wanted top of the range. Mm-hmm. I chose the turntable, and I chose the amplifier and the speakers, and that's exactly what we've done here. So pulled together lots of different technologies to produce plants that we wanted to grow, and that is high flavour tomatoes, but utilising as little energy as we possibly could get away with. So that was our main driver, was to grow with as little pesticide as possible, as little energy as possible, and producing flavoursome tomatoes that we knew that people wanted to buy, and of course we could employ local people.
Wow. So when did it open here?
So we started the build in April 2018, completed in December 18, and 18th of December 18 was when the first plants went in. So we've been growing ever since then, really, without stopping, because we're all year round.
And you always knew you'd focus on tomatoes? You never wanted to do mixed crops or go down any other route?
At this moment, it's tomatoes on this one site. I mean, I've grown many different types of plants: cucumbers, peppers, aubergines, all sorts really, strawberries as well. But my speciality, if you like, is speciality tomatoes. Okay. So that's my main focus. That's what I'm known for, if you want to say. Put it that way.
So here, big space, obviously 11 football pitches of tomatoes.
Yeah.
How does it all work? How are those tomatoes grown? And in part 2, we'll look at how a few of those tips can be used at home. But how are they grown? Are they grown in soil? Are they grown hydroponically? Are they grown on vines? Tell us.
Okay, so
give us a picture of it.
Hydroponics means grown in a soilless culture. So I think people generally think of that as grown in running water, which is also called nutrient film technique. We grow in grow bags, but I deliberately grow in coconut fibre, so coir. The reason I do that is as I feel that it gives quite a natural element. So the roots systems behave as they would sort of in the soil. It also means I can use very easily things like different bacteria and funguses to control root diseases, because obviously things like that can be a problem. We don't use chemicals. So that
what you're saying, coir is more of a blank canvas.
It is absolutely a blank canvas. But the problem is if you're a gardener at home, what you're doing is providing something that's got no nutrition at all.
Yeah, hello.
Ellen is grimacing in the background. She's had failures with coir this season.
I'm sorry. I know coir is meant to be a good alternative to other growing mediums, but no.
It's great if you're going to feed it, and
which you would be doing anyway.
So yeah. I mean, at home you're going to water, hopefully 3 times a day. But I'm guessing a lot of people is once a day. Reality is we water. I mean, it's late spring now, and we're watering 60 times a day. It will increase to about 75 times over a 24-hour period. And I say over a 24-hour period because we start watering. You might not believe this, but we start watering at just after midnight.
Right, okay.
And we water slowly through the night, and then we speed up during the middle of the day, and then we stop at sunset, and then the plant has a rest, and then we start again. And that's how the growing cycle works.
But tell us how the water process goes. Like, where does the water come from? Because I know you've got great big reservoirs here and everything. How does it work?
It is a complicated beast running a site like this. So we try, as I said, we've got a high-tech glasshouse, but we try to do things as naturally as possible. So we capture every drop of water from the roof. And when you look at the gutters, so you've got the apex of the roof, and then you've got going down to a gutter, we capture all of that water in that gutter, which lands on the roof. Great. A lot of people do that. And that goes into our reservoir. We've got here what we call a semi-closed glasshouse. Now, semi-closed means that we only have around 15% of the amount of vents as a conventional glasshouse. So this means that we get more condensation on the glass. That condensation runs down, and we have an internal gutter system to capture all that condensation water. So all that condensation water is also captured and reused.
Right.
Every drop of water that the plants don't use, so when we feed them, that they obviously utilise that water, but they don't use all of it. So all of that wastewater or runoff water is also captured and UV sterilised and used again. So we run, I'd love to say that we are 100% self-sufficient, and in year 1 we actually were. But because we're now growing all year round, last year we were 95% self-sufficient on just using our own rainwater from our own roof.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's quite exceptional. I know it is. particularly in a dry county like Suffolk. I mean, I used to grow in Wales, in Cardiff, where rainfall is nearly twice as much.
Really?
It's a lot easier to grow in a self-sufficient way for water. So and again, it wasn't just about it wasn't just about energy saving. The reasons that we chose this design of glasshouse, water is as important, if not more important, than the energy we're using to grow the crop. You know, I think you've got to take into consideration everything when you're looking at a design process. You know what you want to grow, you know what you want to do. Okay, what's the best tools? It's no different from choosing which hoe to use or which pair of secateurs. You choose the right tool for the right job.
Actually, we should just put into perspective how many tomato plants you have growing here. How many do you have?
You're not quite right at the beginning. That's how many tomatoes we grow. It's 250,000 tomato plants.
Okay, that's quite a lot of tomato
Wow,
plants.
It's still quite a lot, yeah.
What do the plants actually look like, though? Because you look out there and it's a whole tangle of growth.
You see a sea of green. Yeah, it's the wood for the trees. I understand. So we buy in our plant because we have a tight turnaround on our life cycle. So when we take the old crop out, start from that point, we're removing the old crop. The new crop is already in existence. It's already been sown at the propagator. So that's in the north of England that happens. After we've spent a little bit of time sterilising, new plant arrives. So that plant will be about 8 weeks old and will be about 35 centimetres, just over a foot, something like that in height, which doesn't seem a lot for 8 weeks. 8 weeks later, that plant will be 2.5 metres tall and will be picking. So the first 8 weeks is fairly slow.
All of us gardeners here are just going,
You're building a plant, and then now you're building the work engine for growing tomatoes.
Right.
So that's what we're doing here. Obviously, you can see this is a very tall glasshouse, and it almost sucks in light. It actually feels lighter inside than outside. Now, the reason why you see this sea of green is that these young plants are attached to a string. Every week we are... there are different ways of doing it. So you can clip the string to the plant, which is what we do, or you can twist the string around the plant. But either way, you make the plant grow up the string, straight as an arrow, taking out any side shoots.
Yeah, that's a job to do, isn't it?
It's a job in itself.
And smelly as well.
In fact, so that's where the terminology green fingers really comes from, because if you don't wear gloves, which is clearly what we do here, you will get green fingers. You will absolutely get green fingers. So taking out side shoots, deleting, so removing all the bottom leaves, and then controlling the growth. So we do that primarily by temperature. So the sunnier it is, the more the plant can photosynthesize, the more sugars it makes, the more we have to use that sugar. So we have to be able to read the plant, and understand how much sugars it's creating, therefore how much temperature I can give the plant. Now, you think of temperature as, okay, it's 26 today, but tonight's 18. It's actually 24-hour temperature that's the biggest driver in understanding.
Please tell me that you don't have to hand pollinate all of these plants as well.
Okay, so I'm not as young as I used to be. I'm not that so old, but when I first started, we did.
Really?
So we used to have before my time there was hose damping. So this was using a hose pipe, and because tomato plants can self-pollinate, but they need a bit of help doing that. So they need to be knocked. You need to shake the pollen. So you can do that by hose damping, but that causes botrytis and other fungal diseases. So when I started, we used to tap the plants. So it's a piece of cane and knock each tomato plant to make the shake the pollen and therefore self-pollinate.
Right.
I think we first started using bumblebees inside the crop in the late 80s, and that's become the only way to pollinate
now. So that's why there's bees all around.
That's why there's bumblebees in there. We don't use honeybees.
Right.
We don't use honeybees for a couple of reasons. One, more likely to sting because they communicate with each other, and you need a central hive. Bumblebees, maybe not so intelligent, perhaps the wrong word to use, but they don't communicate. Okay. So they're just focused on let's find the pollen that we require. But there's also the fact that tomato plants don't produce nectar. Okay, so one of the big drivers for honeybees is clearly they're collecting the nectar as well. There is no nectar to collect.
Right,
so,
okay.
so these guys are going out there pollinating. I say guys because they're all girls, actually.
Yay! Go girls!
Everyday sexism.
And they're the biggest members of our workforce and the best members of our workforce and the hardest working members of our workforce. But
that's a good save.
So they're out there pollinating every day of the year, and of course Christmas Day, because we're growing all year round. Remember, Christmas Day, the sun comes out, they will be out there working hard.
What happens to the bumblebees when they've finished their job?
Yeah, so the life cycle of a bumblebee is that they're with us for before they arrive. They're in their little hive in their nest for around 12 weeks. So the queen's inseminated, they're producing, building up numbers, worker bees, an entire female workforce, as I said. When they arrive with us, they've got about 10 weeks working life. Now the reason for that is after that, the queen's now half a year old, so she's now thinking, right, it's time to produce next generation, so she starts to produce queens, and the male bees, the drones, they don't work. So they're not pollinators. So it's time to get rid of that hive. So what we don't want to do is to clearly ditch the hive. What we want to do is release the bees. So we take them outside, release them, so they can. The bees themselves will always go back to that hive, but you're releasing the queens and the drones to go outside. Hopefully that. Well, it's what we do. It does work. We do have. Wild bees, our bees going there. So we can only do this because we're using British bees, by the way. Now, if we were using imported bees or bees of any disease, that would be an absolute no-no.
But did you say they went out to wildflower meadows?
So we have around us we have a strip of land that we have wildflowers on. So it is about 1 kilometre in length by 40 metres wide, so it's completely almost surrounds us. And the idea of that is that we can put bees out, and they'll be there's hedgerows, and we have quite a bit of outside space that we set aside for nature. And that's one of the things that we do is the bees releasing.
Oh.
Wow, that's amazing. So they retire into a lovely flowery meadow.
So they have retirement home, yeah, exactly. Sure. They have a hard working life. And then they can go out to pasture.
Excellent. So obviously in the pictures on social media, you'll see what these plants look like. They're absolute monsters. What length do you actually grow a tomato plant to? And how many trusses can a tomato plant have in its lifetime? And how long is the lifespan of a tomato?
Okay, so you could keep a tomato plant going for maybe 2 years. But in reality, one winter is a tough ordeal. So to survive 2 winters is too much, and the effectiveness diminishes of what we produced. So we grow the plants for 1 year, which is actually 13 months, because they're propagated 1 month before arrival, or before we take the old crop out. They grow up to about 16.5 metres in length in that year.
Wow!
So you can imagine if we were trying to grow them for 2 years at 27 metres, the root system to deliver up 27 metres would have to be almost tree size. So it doesn't quite work anymore. So that's the reason why. Because actually the conditions inside are great. We never grow any cooler than 20 degrees in the day, all year round. We have artificial lights, so we can grow.
When you work here, it's like being on holiday.
If you could tell to it is the guys are going to say, not the girls. If you're working at the top of the plant, it's warmer at the top than it is at the bottom, because the cooling system we have is cools from the bottom. So you've got cool air blowing in at the bottom. It's very different from a normal glasshouse. We don't cool from the venting system. We cool from a ducted air system. So we bring cool air at the bottom. So it tends to be hotter at the top. But also the type of glass we've got here. So as you said, we've got 11 football pitches of glasshouse, and that's made up of really large panes of glass, but they are tempered in the same way that you get tempered glass on the side windows of a car. So they would shatter into a million pieces if they ever got broken. But this is the reflective coatings that we use on the glass that enable some of the UV light to come in. So you can get a tan, but you can't get burnt. So
this is the dream.
I can only liken it to being outside wearing factor 50. So because it's every day, you will get a bit of a tan.
Okay, well, I'll be here tomorrow with my
we can't even vacancies.
well, I guess if I had my dream, it would be to have a tomato cafe in the corner.
Oh wow, that would be cool.
And then
tomato-based dishes.
And then your exactly your top of winter light with the UV lights.
That's amazing.
So that's where I want to go.
When we were walking around, we saw quite a few different varieties.
Yeah.
So what do you grow here? How many different varieties? What are they?
So we're primarily growing 5 varieties. Although I say 5, actually, in reality, there is one main variety, which is a variety called Piccolo, which is a sort of super sweet cherry on the vine. We've got 2 other cherry varieties. One is called Yellow Rita, which is a yellow, and the other one was actually named after me, so it's called Lewis.
Was it really named after you?
Yeah, absolutely. No.
Not that I doubt you.
Come on.
Not that I doubt
No, it was. I actually wanted it named after my daughter, using her name, but it ended up getting named Lewis. But
that's amazing.
But it's still, it was named after me, so that's just cool.
That's very cool.
And then we grow a baby plum on the vine called Sunstream, and a cocktail variety called Saluoso. I always find it strange, cocktail varieties, because it's like it sounds more exciting than it really is. It's just it's the size of the fruit. So
but the
taste is good. Well, hopefully the taste is good.
Yeah. Before we move on to part 2, we just want to talk a little bit briefly about the harvesting, because obviously it can't be mechanical because everything ripens at a different time. And what do you do with the different specs?
Okay, so first of all,
as well,
I think it can be mechanical, and it will be mechanical.
Okay.
If you notice on the floor, there are rail pipes. Now they're heating. It's a heating system, but also the electric trolleys that we work on, because the head of the plant is 4.5 meters in the air. So we work on platforms. They are. If you look at the rails, they are absolutely symmetrical, and they sit exactly between the plants. The life cycle of this glasshouse is more than 25 years. At some point, these will be harvested by robots. There's no doubt in my mind at all. There are already test robots that will do single tomatoes. Vine tomatoes are much more complicated, because you have to look, the whole vine's ripe, yes. I need to cut the vine close to the stem. Now I need to take it away. Now I need to turn it over. Is there any damage to the fruit? Yes or no? Now I need to cut it a bit closer, nip both ends, and then put it into the crate. Picking it is a little bit easier. So at this moment in time, it can only be done by hand, and it's done twice a week. And it is a job that it needs doing, and it takes a lot of labour to do so. It is still quite labour intensive.
And also, I've seen you've got some of the ones that obviously aren't as ripe. You sell those obviously as a different spec.
Yeah. So using the right terminology, really, there are offcuts. So they end up being like cherry.
There's still a good market for those.
No, absolutely, and there's still a good flavour to them. So, but we're primarily growing vine tomatoes. Ones that aren't vine, they fall under a different specification.
I love a vine tomato. They just look sexy.
But we said earlier, they've really come up in popularity last few years, because when I was a kid, there was only these horrible orange tomatoes, and that's what made me hate tomatoes. But it's changed. There's so many good quality tomatoes out there now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, vine ripens. They've been on the plant longer. Yeah. So they've been. There's almost a common misconception that you have to go to Spain to buy flavoursome tomatoes. Actually, that is absolutely not true. The flavour comes from the amount of time that the tomato is on that vine and on that plant, getting sugars into it. Because all the time it's attached to the plant, sugars are entering that fruit and making it sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. And In the UK, we harvest our tomatoes at a higher colour, and it absolutely means more flavour. It absolutely means more flavour. We grow flavoursome varieties. We choose varieties that are not the highest yielding, and so there's a cost to it in terms of production, but the gain is in flavour, and hopefully that repeat customer who says, look, I want to buy British, I want to buy from that company, from that person, because I know they taste good.
Yeah, exactly. You want to fly that British flag for growing, don't you? And say, look, we can produce this and it tastes really good. It doesn't have to come from somewhere miles away that's sunny.
Absolutely. It doesn't have to have that carbon footprint of driving, etc., etc.
Yeah. Cool.
Amazing.
Thank you so much. Well, in part 2, we'll be back then with some tips, hopefully, for growers at home. And I cannot wait, because my tomatoes are generally okay-ish, but I probably could do a bit better.
I want to grow one that I weave around my whole lounge.
It will sting.
Well, you know.
Hello, it's Donna from Pretty Cactus Plants here. This time I'm going to talk to you about indoor plants that you can grow outside now that the summer months have arrived. Before you go and grab all your plants and hustle them out onto the patio, there's a few things you need to bear in mind first. Summer in the UK can be a little bit colder than your houseplants are used to, so you need to make sure that you get the timing right. Most houseplants will want temperatures of 10 degrees or above, and that's remembering that it's 10 degrees or above during the day and at night. You've also got to remember your houseplant hasn't had any direct sunlight for a while. Whilst it may be getting some sun rays through the window, having sun directly on its foliage is completely different. It's a good idea that when you move your houseplants outside to let them acclimatise, start off in a really shaded area and gradually move them out into the sun. They will love a little bit of vitamin D and they will thank you for it. The other thing to keep in mind is protecting your houseplants from the wind. Their leaves will be quite fragile from having been inside. In nature, the wind strengthens the leaves over time, but taking them straight out on a windy day may result in leaf damage. When you do take them outside, make sure it's a nice still day to ensure that there's no wind to damage your plants. So, what plants can you take outside? There's a whole host of succulents that you can take outside in the summer months. You may even notice some leaf colour changing. This is due to the sun directly onto the leaves of your succulent plants, and it creates some beautiful colours. Other plants that will be great outside are sedum. You can also pop spider plants outside. This is one of my personal favourites, and I have spider plants growing outside in my own home. It takes a little bit of time to get them to acclimatise, but they love it eventually, and they're pet friendly too. So you don't need to worry about popping them out of reach of your four-legged friends. Lastly, the yucca is a great plant to pop outside. And if you have a small balcony or a small patio, you can put a couple of yucca around the outside to create a really tropical feel. I feel a Hawaiian-themed party coming on. So that's it, some plants that you can grow outside in the summer this month. All of these plants are now available online via www.prettycactus.co.uk. Enjoy the rest of the Plant-Based podcast. Until next time, bye.
So we just wanted to take a moment to talk about Flaming Katie, also known as Callan Cherry.
They flower for 10 weeks or more, and they come in a rainbow selection of colours. And there's all shapes and sizes, including varieties such as Magic Bells and Dolly.
They're a flowering succulent, so can cope if you forget to water them on numerous occasions.
Top tip, though, during the summer, did you know that Callan Cherry work really well as a summer patio plant? You can grow them outdoors. Mix them up with other drought-tolerant plants like Cape daisies and your geraniums.
Sounds great. For more information, check out the callancherry.nl website by the team at Always Callan Cherry.
So we found out so much about growing tomatoes commercially, but what tips can we draw from Richard in order to help you grow tomatoes at home in the very best way? For example, could we grow them 15 metres in length at home?
I doubt it.
But could we grow longer tomatoes and make more of them with more trusses, or what kind of inspiration
Yeah, absolutely.
can you give us?
I mean, to be honest, at home you are limited by the size of the glasshouse you're growing in, which is generally, let's say an 8x6 with being 6 foot tall. You're not going to grow a tall plant there. Having said that, when I first started, I played about with growing plants in my conservatory, and I was layering in my conservatory. So I remember growing plants that were sort of 3 meters long in my conservatory at home in the 80s. So it can absolutely be done, in for the amateur market, but it needs to be done with heat, of course. Absolutely needs to be heat, and you need to water and feed. Plants no different from us. They need times of the day when they're drinking, times of the day when they're eating, and they need to be kept warm and nurtured.
And it's quite specific, isn't it, when they drink and feed here? What times of day? Yeah,
so we water the plants over, I guess, 18 hours through the day. But at night time and the early hours of the morning, we give stronger feed than in the day. Now, obviously, we want our plants to produce commercial volumes, and we need to work them very hard. But at home, you can do something similar. So, my advice would be, if you can do it, water the plants in the morning, but just put plant feed in the morning. Middle of the day, plants thirsty, so water absolutely fine middle of the day, and then feed them again at night time. So I know this old wives' tale about only give them water, feed water at night. Don't do anything. Just water them once a day at night, or do it in the morning. Some people say it's about root pressure. So if the plant gets dry, when you it's no different again from a person. When a plant gets dry, if you give it too much water in one go, it will drink too much. Where's all that water going to go? You're going to split the fruit.
Yeah.
And equally, if you get dry, then water uptake into the leaves isn't enough, and you end up getting blossom end rot, which I'm sure there'll be a number of
I got that last year
growers
for the first time.
That. Yeah, so it is calcium deficiency, but it's calcium deficiency caused by the fact that there's no water bringing fresh calcium into the fruit.
That was the first time I'd ever had it, and it was on only one, and it was San Marino, San something.
Plum.
Yeah.
San Marzano?
That's it, San Marzano, and that's the only time I've ever had blossom end rot.
Yeah.
So it's about consistent water.
Consistency. And actually, plum varieties are much more difficult to grow than round. But it's the shape. So the conical shape, water's drawn to the bottom of the fruit, and equally, when the plant gets thirsty, so if you haven't given the plant enough water, where's it going to take water from? If it's not in the root zone, it takes it from the fruit, and it takes it from the end of those plums in particular. So you will get much more
a dry bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what, our listeners who join in Tomato Tuesday on socials will love this episode.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh. But how can someone do that consistent watering at home? Like, what, you've got to set an alarm and water once
so you can have an automatic watering device.
Okay.
So they're not so expensive nowadays to run off a outside tap, and it's a small timer. Or before work and after work, and if you go at home for lunchtime,
just get into a rhythm with
because a lot of people are now working from home. So our life is changing, and our eating habits have gone with it. So we're seeing quite an uplift in the purchases of tomatoes, and it's mainly around the lunchtime. So we've seen a 30% uplift in tomato consumption during lunchtime period. So there are people at home, probably not been through choice, but I think I can't see personally that changing so much. There's certainly a lot of people working from home.
Pop to the supermarket and buy yourself a vine of tomatoes.
Great for tomatoes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I have to ask one question that home growers, of course, always stress about, and that's blight.
Blight, yes.
So, do you have any tips of what to do about blight, and what do you do here? Like, if you get one pest or disease, that's the whole lot wiped out.
Yeah, absolutely. So because of the way we grow the crops, so it is in a glasshouse where we're venting through this blown air system, and we recirculate. So we're recirculating the air around. So if you get a lot of fungal spores in the air, it can spread around the crop. Blight is not a problem to us. The reason that you get blight is the cooling down, particularly in the autumn period, where the crop gets damp and cold. So I think managing the way that you close your vents in your glasshouse at home can help prevent blight. Stopping the plant getting too cold. Small heater in the glasshouse. Things like that make a big difference. Okay. Do I spray for blight? No. I don't need to. So you can control blight purely by just keeping the atmosphere right for growing.
Right, okay.
So I mean, we measure humidity levels. Once you get above 90% humidity, then the risk of things like blight and botrytis are much increased. Most people don't measure humidities, but it's obviously vital that we do so, and we take actions to prevent getting above 90%.
Right, okay.
But it's keeping that those humidities away at night. So a heater and closing the vents down.
Okay, so obviously consistent watering. We've said tap the plants to help them
tap the plants. Well, actually, I would tap the plants. Yes, that does work. I would rather open the door of the glasshouse and let the bees in, because that's their job. You know, that's what they want to do. They want that pollen. Yeah. So let them have it. You know, look after the bees.
I'm super excited when I see a bee in my greenhouse.
Yeah,
very happy about it, because I know it's doing its thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just on the feed, would you recommend people at home feed their tomatoes once a week, or is that too much? Because I know obviously you water more often.
Yeah,
feed more often.
Yeah, so we're watering up to 75 times a day, and every time we give water, it's got feed in it.
Okay, so someone at home, how often would you tell them to feed?
I would rather they have a small amount every day.
Okay, wow.
Consistency is a big factor.
That's interesting.
I think there's most people probably feed them a couple of times during the growing season, and that's it.
Yeah, I think it's no different from you and I. That, you know, if we went home and we were fed once a month, we wouldn't be happy about it.
That's so true. Yeah.
Once a day, I wouldn't be happy about it, to be honest.
But feeding plants overall, people just don't do it enough, do they?
No, absolutely.
Especially if they're growing in coir.
And it absolutely does not mean that you need to, give more feed. But it's just consistent. So, a capful every time works much better than.
So you're growing in coir here, but you're feeding and watering consistently at home. If you're not keeping that up, then it's just not going to work. And I've had some major disasters with coir. I'm over it. Sorry.
Well,
she don't stop going on about it.
So our grow bags are quite small, and you'll have seen that.
I know. I'm so surprised at how tiny they are.
So they are half a metre long, and they are 20 centimetres wide by 12 high. So if you're buying an old-fashioned peat bag or whatever they are, you're buying to grow your plants in, it's about half the size of one of those that you'd buy commercially, and yet we're growing 9 tomato heads from that, and they've been growing in that for 3 years. So although we change the plants every year, the grow bag is the same grow bag.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So and you just think, well, how do you do that? It's just the plants are fed by feed. No.
What kind of feed?
So we mix to our own recipe. Okay. And the recipe changes all through the year. So at different times of the year, plants need different things. So they need a lot more phosphates at the beginning when they're producing roots. They need calcium all year round. They need a lot of potassium when they're fruiting. So you change the recipe a little bit, and not too much nitrates.
Do bananas really work? Because you use bananas, don't you?
Banana skin.
For potassium. Does that really work?
But banana skin will give off a lot of a hormone called ethylene. Ethylene is a natural hormone that will ripen any fruit. So if you put tomato skins into a banana skins into a tomato glasshouse, then you will almost prematurely ripen them. It works great at the end of the year. So at the end of the year, you want to pick off your green ones and put them on the windowsill and a couple of banana skins. Brilliant. That'll help ripen them. But don't put them in the glasshouse. I definitely wouldn't do that.
I've never done it. I just wondered.
It's a rumour.
So also, when people grow at home, they tend to stop the plant after about 6 trusses, don't they? Would you recommend that for home gardening, or?
Okay, if you're going to grow on a cane, I don't think you've got any choice. If you're able to move the head around, so layer the plants, then there's absolutely no reason why you can't grow it longer.
Okay.
If I had again, another tip would be leaf length. So the more leaf you've got, the more leaf you're going to grow. So you're creating a plant that's quite vegetative. It just wants to produce leaf. So what you don't want to do is produce leaf. If you want to get more fruit off your plant, grow it a little bit taller. But every week, take a small leaf out of the head. So I'm talking about a leaf that's at the top of the plant, that's no bigger than an inch, so right at the top of the plant, and you will make that plant focus more on fruit rather than leaf.
Just by taking a small leaf out?
Just focuses the energy of the plant.
Love it. That's amazing. A great tip.
Yeah, and the most important question of all then, tell me about your cupboards at home. Are they full of passata and tomato chutney? What's the deal there then? Do you love tomatoes?
Well, my wife doesn't. So we don't have a huge amount of tomatoes at home, ironically, but I eat enough in the daytime.
Yeah.
I literally can't believe we're sitting here in basically like a whole glass house of tomatoes with someone who clearly knows so much, has such a long history with tomatoes, even has one named after him, and your wife doesn't like tomatoes.
It's terrible, isn't it?
It is rather awkward.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been really great to come here and actually see everything in action as well. I'm particularly happy that Michael has enjoyed
I was eating them straight from the vine, as nature intended.
Yeah, and we very much appreciate you coming on.
No, it's great that you've come in and seen what we've got to offer, because I think British growers have got a lot to offer. We do produce high quality product, and growers like ourselves grow it all year round as well. I think if you're looking for that quality product, look for the Union Jack.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Absolutely.
Cool.
British all the way. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
No problem.
Fancy a pizza now.
Cobra is the very proud partner of Series 4 of the Plant-Based Podcast, joining in the celebration of plants, gardens and outdoor living. With over 60 models of lawnmowers available in the Cobra range, there's something for every garden. As a special offer for our listeners, Cobra is offering the chance to win exclusive prizes. Head over to cobragarden.co.uk to find out more.
Because that was really funny. You'll have to do all of that again, Ellen.
Okay, I'll be as surprised as I was for real.
Okay. I really want to try and get to this, like Seagate Irises and Stody Lodge. When does it finish? When's the last day?
Stody Lodge is the last day is on the bank holiday Monday. And then they have like a classic car day on one of those days as well. But like it's a private house, so their garden is only open when it's all the rhododendrons and azaleas that are out. So that ends like in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, I'm really gutted I missed it. Oh, I'm so slow with these things. I hate any plant that only flowers for 2 weeks. So frustrating, isn't it? I want everything to be a summer bedding plant, Well, I kind of don't, but I also do. Did you take any pictures without you in them?
I took loads of. I took probably 99.9% of pictures without me in them.
Oh, well, that sounds great. Could you please license one to me that is a unique shot that I can Photoshop myself into?
Oh my God!
I know.
That's so bad. Not to pretend you went.
Yeah, of course. Well, no, to be honest, I really want to go and have that experience myself. Anyway, what an irreverent... Is it irrelevant or irreverent?
Well, I don't know. It depends on what you're going to say next.
Well, what an unsuitable start to a gossip, Ellen. But
yes, very much.
I think we need to start off by celebrating your orchids.
Thanks, aren't they beautiful?
You thought I'd say something else, didn't you?
No, what did I think you were going to say?
About your book.
Oh, my
Congratulations,
yes.
Ellen Mary.
Thank you
book,
very
which
much.
is a little bit larger than pocket-sized, is out today. I like the size. I call it hand-sized. It's palm-sized, a palm-sized book.
Palm-sized, yeah. It's not a big book. And it fits on your bookshelf. You can squeeze it in between books, you know?
Definitely.
It's cute.
You can fit it in a glove box.
Definitely. So you can put it in your car. If you're driving to the allotment, you could like hide it in your shed somewhere and use it when you're in the garden, or plonk it in the shed. It won't take up much room. All of the things I never thought about when I was writing it.
I reckon you could fit it in a vanity bag as well.
Yeah, you could do. Well, I'm not entirely sure why you would want to be carrying it in a vanity bag. But
are you feeling good, girlfriend?
Yeah, it's good, yeah.
Yeah?
It's surreal.
Yeah.
Really.
I guess though, for you must feel like it was released when you first had the copies in your hand, right? Which was a few weeks ago, right?
It's like pre-order for most books is always a good few weeks, even a couple of months before it's actually published. So the first copy I got was a few weeks ago now. So I guess when you first get it in your hand is when you feel like it's real. But when I saw it in Waterstones, that was weird.
You went searching for it?
I went to meet someone for coffee yesterday.
Ooh, was it a signing?
Yeah, the day before it was meant to be out on the shelf.
Yeah.
And I know that some books do appear a few days before they're meant to anyway. So
oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen that quite a few times. In fact,
so they're leaked, you mean?
Very slightly off on a tangent, but when I was in a place called Alpharetta, which is just outside Atlanta, and it was at the time where the RHS Wellbeing book was being released. And I went into this bookshop because there was a Costa coffee in there, and I literally love books. Like I should have been a librarian or something. And I was looking at the gardening books, and the RHS Wellbeing book was there in Atlanta, and it was about a week before it was meant to be released. Yeah, so I always kind of had that in my mind. So I was walking past Waterstones anyway. I needed to get a notebook for a friend in America who wanted me to send one over, a specific one over for her. So I went in and looked, and I thought, oh, well, I'm here. I'm definitely going to go and look.
Oh, that's
and I
so
looked
cute.
all around the gardening place, and it wasn't in any of the gardening shelves.
Okay.
And then as I was leaving, it was right by the tills.
Oh, no way. Oh, my God, Ellen Mary. That's cool. But it leaked early. Like Madonna had an album that leaked early once.
Oh, there you go.
The
like
one,
Madonna.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one where it's like she's looking through some double glazing on the album cover.
Oh, I don't know. I've never been.
I don't know what it's called, but that one was leaked, which is amazing. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I'm the plant-based addict that got leaked.
But Ellen, I was in Norwich as well. Yes, was it yesterday? Yesterday. Was it when it was all that rain? That's when you were going in the bookshop?
Yes, because I left my house and decided to walk into the city, and it was like bloody November.
Oh, I know. We were circulating in Norwich at the same time.
Yeah, and you didn't even contact me.
Get out. I was on my holidays.
I love it when people do that. Like, we've messaged each other about that, haven't we, before? Don't you love that? Oh, I'm in Cambridge, and then lots of people are like, oh, come over for tea. And you're like, that's so sweet, but what makes you think I'm able to do that?
People I don't know.
Yeah.
But Melon, oh my God, a revelation at Erpingham. Have you had I think you have had the banana blossom.
Banana blossom, like fish and chips?
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Oh my God.
Yum.
It's so cool because you cut into it and it's like fish flesh, right? But also the kind of pieces of the banana flour. There's some pieces that look like bones as well. So it looks like a piece of bony fish. It's so realistic. It's uncanny.
Did you like the flavour though? That's the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'd had banana blossom just from the tin before,
Yeah.
And you kind of don't, like, I really should have done something with it. But in the batter, it was just, It was probably erring on the side of unhealthy, though, once you had all this batter on. But, what the hell? You're only young once. Are you? Ellen, when's your birthday? I haven't missed it, have I?
No, my birthday was months ago.
Oh, okay, cool. I just wondered if you have another one.
Yeah, I'm like a queen. I have numerous throughout the year.
No, but it's easy to forget people's birthdays,
Also, when you get older, does it even matter so much? I don't know. Is that the wrong way of looking at it? Like, you should be celebrating as you're getting older because you're still alive.
Get out. But I think Facebook lies a lot of the time, so you can't rely on that because people are probably fake birthdays in to save their identities or something.
No idea.
Oh, I have no idea.
All I know is my birthday was months ago, and I know what month yours is in, but I don't know what date, but I'm pretty sure I would have written it in my diary.
What, yours?
Yours.
Mine, right. Yeah. I think your birthday, I was like, well, surely you know when that is. Oh my God.
I have to remind myself. Yeah, sure.
Oh, mine too. Ellen, I have to spin you around. Look at the light in my lounge.
Beautiful.
Legs on legs. Look at that. Look at my cushion.
Sunset on your wall.
Do you like that cushion?
No, I think it's really weird.
Oh, really? Why don't you like it? Oh, you're horrible. It's just a cute little giraffe,
I like that better.
You, Jezebel. Anyway, how are your orchids, woman?
My orchids are doing beautiful, thank you. I'm loving my orchids.
And they're not dead yet?
They're not dead. I'm pretty good at keeping orchids alive and getting them to reflower.
Yeah. Have you planted all your stuff out now, by the way?
What? Outside at the allotment?
Yeah. Like outside.
Oh my God, no! I haven't.
Helen, have your plants gone out?
Have they gone out yet? I love that. They've been out in the daytimes when I've had the chance to go to the allotment to do that, and then in at night. Otherwise, no. I have very little stuff planted out. And I checked all my photographs from previous years, not last year, here, and we're a good 2 to 3 weeks behind where we have been in previous years. So I think from tomorrow, actually, I'm going to be down the allotment a bit more and starting to plant out and then just protect them. I actually can't harden them off as much as I would usually because I can't go there in the morning, get everything out, and then go back at night and put them in again. I don't have the time for that. So
that's
I'm going to have to just plant stuff out.
I think that would generally be fine because like your greenhouse is not necessarily airtight. Do you know what I mean? So they've probably been getting
very warm in there though.
But they've probably been getting some chill at some point, haven't they? I guess.
I don't know. That Rhino greenhouse is pretty tight.
Are they a bit too good?
They are good.
What you want, Ellen, is a greenhouse. Then you'll get on much better.
Yeah. So I think over the next couple of weeks it will be all about planting out and protecting them, to make sure that they're okay. But I'm quite excited actually. I've had loads of failures this year. Loads of things that haven't.
I've had loads of failures.
No, but I mean the ones that have grown, I feel excited about. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
That's cool.
I feel really good about this year. I think it will. It'll be a bit of a short season.
But you know what? Like, looking from the other angle, the fact that it was cold for so long actually prolonged our tulip displays and our daffodil displays.
Yeah.
So what you lose on one hand, you do gain on the other. So it's
true. And every year is different.
My tulips are still banging.
Yeah, banging.
I have to tell you, I really screwed up my Gadisha.
What did you do? Come on, this has been a complete disaster from start to finish.
Well, I really underestimated the viability of the seeds. I thought, I don't know, I just didn't think they would germinate as much as they did. So I probably sowed them a little bit too densely. And I always tell people you should sow your seeds like similar to, putting pepper on your pizza or something, like, cracked pepper. But I was a lot more than that. I was probably like putting sugar on cornflakes, way too much. And then obviously when they come up, they're quite tall because, yeah, of course, you can have them in the light. They're not reaching for light. They're actually reaching to kind of grow out of each other sort of thing. So when I prick them, they're like this almighty tangle. And I've put them obviously all into pots, but probably there's a 60% success rate, which is not that bad. But it just means like a few wasted pots of like stuff that you can just see dying before your eyes because obviously they were a bit damaged. But I also did a tray of coleus and I had tons of those germinate and I've potted them up and they're all really happy. But I hate them, so I wish they hadn't lived, really. I would rather have the Gadisha because these coleus are just overrunning me. It's like I wanted more to die.
Oh, my gosh. This is what happens in the gardener's world. Interestingly, although you say about the Gadishas not germinating too much and then some when you've potted them on haven't lived, 60% is not bad considering all of that,
Yeah, it's true. Oh, no. It was 60% after I pricked them out. I think the germination rate was 100.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like after you prick them out and then a little bit and whatnot, 60% is actually not bad at all.
But Ellen, I should be a pro. Honestly, this is embarrassing. I don't know if we can even broadcast this, Ellen Mary.
That's like me saying I've had loads of failures, I should not have any failures. Everything should germinate 100% and everything should grow perfectly.
Oh, I've got to prick out my self-pollinate soon, actually. And that is a second sowing because the first one I bought off Amazon and it turned out to be grass.
It wasn't real. You got had.
Jezebels, honestly. But I should have known when I got the seeds out because they look like grass seeds and self-pollinate doesn't look anything like that. Yeah.
What did the seller say when you told them?
They actually backed down. They were fine.
Okay.
And I got a refund. But it's like you shouldn't have to go through that. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So I don't know. But I planted loads of stuff in my front garden and I weeded it as well. I'm so excited.
Oh, it's so cute seeing you love doing it so much since you've got your garden.
It really is cool.
And it's really nice.
As usual, I've got a million houseplants as well. But with the houseplants, it's kind of like survive or die, if you know what I mean. Well, they just get watered once a week. Whoever's thirsty gets it, and whoever's not doesn't.
Well, I get that. I always like when I'm away and people very kindly look after my houseplants. They take on such an immense sense of responsibility and really take it personally if a plant dies. And I'm like, you really don't worry about it. It's no problem.
Really.
Yeah.
And even, one that is starting to wilt is easy to revive, and it's much easier to revive than one that's too wet. And a plant is obviously, when it's too wet, it's going to wilt as much as it does when it's too dry. So,
and especially over the colder months, if you've got plants sitting in wet soil, it's like the worst thing ever. I've been painting flowers because I decided to do something different. Look.
Oh, gee, that's cool. Is it Lavatera?
I've been learning to paint. Oh, that one wasn't very good. And then I decided that I would paint a melon, but then I messed it up. But look, it was going
quite well. It looks like a melon that's gone off a bit, that's all.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it looks like.
That's art, Isn't there an old fruit bowl picture where it's all mouldy fruit or something? Famous one, I think.
Mine needs to be perfect. I've been learning to paint.
Oh, that's really cool. Uh-huh. Oh, Ellen, all these secret skills. It's a shame you can't cook.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that was a low swipe.
That was so mean.
Sorry, you can cook, actually.
Beans on toast, I can cook perfectly.
No, you have cooked some things before, I'm sure.
What? And I do sometimes wonder if, because maybe on the times that you've come round, I haven't been shopping, or I haven't got stuff in, or I've been in a rush and it's not been so brilliant. But I genuinely can actually cook and bake more than cook.
Believe it.
Baking, I can bake pretty well.
Bacon?
Bacon.
Now it's all coming out. Now it's all coming out, Ellen Mary. She eats bacon after dark.
Only when it's a full moon.
You are a full moon. Hey, I want to give you a tip well, you might know it already, but I got a tip the other day. You know, Streptocarpus?
Yeah.
They were kind of being real bumholes, right? And they just kept like wilting, and I didn't know if they're too wet or too dry or blah, 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 blah. And Phil, you know Phil? Phil. Phil. How do you pronounce Phil? Phil.
What?
Phil. Well, I don't know. People always take the mick because I can't say. Oh no, that's TH, isn't it? Oh, ignore all that. Where am I? Phil, who is on the RHS magazine, he said that like put some of these Ceramis balls underneath. You know, the clay pebbles.
Right. Yeah.
And then you can have water down there, but it then draws up only when it needs it, and that's quite different to having like an actual reservoir of water, because it's kind of sitting on that and it draws it up through them, so it's not sitting directly in the water, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and they're meant to be really good. It
was like an epiphany for me, literally. I had an epiphany in my lounge. In my pink lounge, I had an epiphany all over the sofa. Oh, Ellen, you are a laugh.
You're so cheeky, you really are.
Oh dear. So what you got up to? What oh God. This is the part of the thing where I ask you a little bit about yourself. What you got on this week, babe?
I don't even know what day it is, to be honest.
It's Saturday.
The day is what? Are we talking about, I literally don't know.
It's Wednesday. No, it's not. It's Thursday.
So what's the day on Monday? What's the date on Monday? Oh, hang on, I'll tell you.
I'm not your
But do you know what? I'm going to tell you. Next week, I've got a fair bit of time to go to the allotment, which is amazing. And I've been literally penning book 2. So I literally pen to paper for book 2.
Oh my God, you are Agatha Christie. Oh, you don't write under that hole under the stairs, though, do you? Oh, I couldn't write there, Ellen. I'd need a window.
There's windows all around me. It's really
Why don't you write on the allotment on your little bistro set? That would be cool.
Yeah, no, because if you're down the allotment, you see jobs to do, and it's really distracting. And you're
turn your back on it then.
Well, then I'd be facing the compost pile if I'd done that.
Oh, that's really cool. Are you excited?
Yeah, looking forward to it. What about you? What are you doing?
Well, you're an author now.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that? I felt like you were having an epiphany on your sofa now. Get them cushions in the wash. Right, what did you ask me? What have I got on?
What are you doing?
Actually, on Monday, which is also known as the 31st of May, doing a segment on Steph's Packed Lunch. This is about sensory gardens, but Ellen, it's sensory gardens with a big difference.
Of course. Well, I'd expect nothing less of you.
Well, no, it's lots of exciting tastes, lots of exciting smells, different sounds. No, not necessarily sounds, and different touches as well. So we've got some really cool plants to kind of demo in the studio, etc. So that should be
exciting.
Cool. So I pulled in loads of cool things for that.
If I'm not knee deep in words, I'll watch it.
Oh, that's really cute of you. Thank you for your support. We're filming some new, promo video for QV and C next week, end of next week. Tomorrow I'm sort of still on holiday, but I really need to do a bit of a gentle admin day. Oh, and I need to finish the video.
Yeah, because you've been away, haven't you?
Yeah. So I've been in Cambridge, Lincoln, Kings Lynn, and Norwich.
Sorry, hang on. Did you say Kings Lynn?
Well, sort
Did
of
you say Kings Lynn?
No, hang on. Dursingham? Near Sandringham.
Oh, yeah.
A place called the Folks Inn?
Yeah.
Which is actually in Hillington or something like that. Is that right?
That's where the tulip fields are. You literally went to the tulip fields.
Is that the one you've just been to recently?
Yeah, so out the back of that
What the hell?
Out the back of that pub.
I didn't know it was there.
Fields. It's literally behind the pub.
No, because they were saying about, there's tulip fields down there. Obviously, they're all out of bloom now. But I didn't realise this is the one that you were at the other week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's where we stayed, for one night.
Yeah, it was lovely there. But yeah, the tulip fields are literally behind the car park.
Yeah, I could see them, but obviously the heads were off. Oh, bloody hell, another epiphany now. I need a lie down.
Your sofa must be a right mess.
So we stayed in that little inn, which is really cute little place, actually, with those little motel-like rooms on the side.
You've had a staycation.
Yeah, I know, it's been cool. Like, if you see the map of what we did, we basically went around the whole boob of the country.
The whole boob. Left or right boob?
And this tulip field, right boob, and this tulip field was kind of just around the nipple. Don't tell me that's inappropriate. That doesn't need bleep now. You what?
It's called the areola or something. Yeah.
The areola is Sandringham.
Not alveoli that you eat.
Or areole, which is a cactus spine.
Yeah.
Oh, God, look at us. We're wordsmiths. It's you. You're an author now, and you can't stop talking about words.
I know all of the words.
Oh, honestly, Ellen, I don't even know you anymore.
Very good.
You do make me laugh. So do you not need to do a bit of corporate speak?
About what?
Well, usually you like to refer to what's been in our episode and kind of
That's if we do the news. That's if we do the news, but this one hasn't been the news.
Oh, Ellen, there's so many rules. I can't keep up. Oh, you lead me with an iron fist. What
you love it. You
give me no room to grow.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Yeah. All right, then.
It's been lovely chatting.
No, Ellen, I've just remembered.
What?
The whole subject this gossip was supposed to be about.
Oh, my gosh. What?
Oh, my God.
Are you kidding?
How far in are we? What?
Like all of the way.
Oh, fam.
What?
Tomatoes.
What? Oh, tomatoes.
It's our tomato episode, you nutbit. Oh, no. All right, we'll have to do it now. Right, let's get corporate. Ready? Are you doing it or shall I?
You.
We really enjoyed our visit to Sterling Suffolk, and this is all part of the National Tomato Something Week. And we just want to take a moment to share a few of our thoughts on tomatoes, basically. Ellen, hi.
Hi, let's talk about British Tomato Week.
Do you like tomatoes?
Yes, actually. And I realise now I'm going to go all corporate on you, but I loved going to Sterling Suffolk. I really enjoyed it, just seeing all of the tomatoes growing. And it blew my mind how many vines out of those tiny, tiny little coir bags. Do you know what I mean? It was just awesome. I did really like it. And he was amazing, wasn't he? He was really chatty. I love tomatoes, but I really like all of the kind of different tomatoes. Like, I don't grow loads of them because I don't I don't have space to grow loads of them, and also I don't eat loads of them, and if I have loads of them it gives me indigestion, so I only have like maybe 3 tomato plants a year, which is plenty enough for me and hubby. And
you're on rations.
And I kind of like some of the different ones. So one of my favourite is green zebra.
Oh really? But how would you use that one?
What? The same as any other tomato.
So like in a salad, fresh?
Yeah. And actually olive oil and a pinch of salt really brings the flavour out.
That I would do.
Yeah. And when you harvest it, it does have a slightly yellowy blush, but actually apparently newer ones have a slightly more red blush to them. But I like the flavour. It's
not bitter necessarily. Oh, because it's ripe. You just assume it's not ripe because it's green, but it is. Yeah,
but it is ripe. Yeah. I love that one. Okay. And I really like. What's the little yellow pear-shaped ones? I can't remember the name. I've grown it literally every year.
Well, Ildi.
No.
No. Not sure.
I'll think about it while we're talking. It will come to me. It's just silly that I can't remember. Anyway, you're not a massive fan of tomatoes, are you?
No, ever since I was a kid, these kind of, when you have these orange ones that are barely ripe that you get from the supermarket and you're given it in a sandwich and it's so wet that it makes the whole sandwich like moist. And I just hate that. And so even to this day, because they don't add anything, honestly, they really don't. And to this day, I will pick them out and I'll even unwrap a wrap just to get into the tomato and get it out. It's coming out. I'm not eating that. But as I've got older, I've kind of then realised that the smaller cherry ones, as long as they're fully ripe and got a bit of sweetness, then I really enjoy those. But of course, as I became more cultured, I realised that you can actually increase the sweetness of your tomatoes when you're putting salt on, can't you? You can draw out the flavour a bit.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I had a very disappointing tomato incident at the weekend, Ellen.
Oh, dear.
We were I'm not going to name the place, but it was Carluccio's in Cambridge. And basically ordered the tomato and onion salad. And when it came out, I just, Ellen, when I do a death stare, I did a death stare at this plate of tomatoes. And I was just like, I gave it a withering look. I really did. And it was like, I could see that they were these orange tomatoes, like from my childhood, dressed up with olive oil and red onion. And it's kind of like, I'm in an Italian restaurant. I need to have juicy, plump, red as my embarrassed face tomatoes, And so I was just like, because I'd even said to him beforehand, I was like, my classic thing I say in a restaurant was, I'd say like, oh, this tomato salad, is it nice? And like waiters, they never quite know what to say. But I'm trying to I'm just saying it very plainly, it's like, is it nice? Because you never know, and obviously on this occasion it wasn't nice. But yeah.
Well, I think it's like, you can get lovely big beefy tomatoes with amazing flavour, and obviously if you grow them at home and you're growing them in the right conditions and organically and feeding them and they're getting the right light, you can get them and they just taste absolutely beautiful. They do taste really good, but I think so many mass-produced tomatoes, they just don't have the flavour, and that's what was different about Sterling Suffolk, because they actually picked the varieties for the flavour, and that's what they were really keen on. But I'm glad you've had those experiences with tomatoes. I have remembered my favourite tomato is called Sun Gold.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's almost too sweet.
That's lovely, and you can just eat it straight off the vine. Like if I'm down the allotment and I get
definitely.
Delicious.
I would as well. So I've really changed over the years, but I'm still going to pick it out of a wrap.
Are you going to grow your own this year though?
I've got a tomtato actually, which is a plant that you may know, Ellen Mary.
I don't know, we've all heard about it.
It has tomatoes on top, potatoes on the bottom, but the damn wind broke the top off.
Oh.
That wind was a beehole, I tell you, Ellen.
I know, it really was. It's been a nightmare.
Oh my God. Because you can't do anything about it. It's kind of like my tomato plant, it's literally 10 inches high. I didn't imagine the wind would get that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, hang on, love. But it will clearly have side shoots, so yeah.
It will be fine. And what about your veggie pod as well? What are you growing in that?
I need to resow it actually over the next few days. I'm not sure what I'm going to put in yet. I think salad crops, maybe some edible flowers. I mean, with the lid, it's going to accelerate it anyway. So I'm not feeling too much of a worry of like, oh, I must get it planted. So that's kind of cool.
Mine's all edible flowers mainly, but at the moment it's home to some of the stuff I can't fit in the greenhouse and I want to put out. So I'm literally using it as like a little mini greenhouse.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's like at Norfolk Olive, they were using it as a nursery bed, weren't they?
It's actually really useful. And then, like you said, because it accelerates everything so quickly, once I remove those, which will be in the next week, then I'll have edible flowers in there.
Oh, useful. Definitely, darling. Have you got any spare tomato plants?
Yeah, I probably do, yeah. Do you want a couple?
Well, I just asked because I ordered some baby potato plants to do the graft myself on tomatoes.
Right. Okay.
But the tomato plants never arrived, so I don't have those to do. So maybe I'll do that. Or maybe, would you like to do one as well?
Yeah, sure. That would be fun.
Yeah. I'll give you some potatoes and you give me some tomatoes.
All right, fine. We'll do that.
This is a plant swap. Oh, wow. Oh, this is what I'm living for.
A live plant swap.
Oh, that is so nice. But we're not sharing them with anyone else.
I've got a mushroom plant for you as well.
Oh, I've already got 2.
Oh, I said I mean,
From Urban Herbs.
Fine.
I had to look after myself, Ellen. Yeah. But no, yeah, you did say, didn't you? But the beef and onion plant, how's that doing?
It's huge.
Yeah? How big?
It's really big. It's like...
Well, do you know, it's a mahogany tree, darling.
Yeah, I know you said that before, and I didn't know. It's actually really got quite big.
Aha! But does it
I love
smell?
it. It's a novelty. It's a novelty, but it does look quite. I like the foliage.
Are you going to fit it in your car? Aren't you taking it to what's it?
Yeah, it was fine. It'll go in the boot of the car. Yeah. Oh, that's Sunday actually. So that it will be the day this goes out. I'm going to take that with me to the.
Oh, that's cool.
Festival.
Oh, are you excited?
Do you know what? I'm really looking forward to it because after a year of doing talks by Zoom, this will be the first talk in person. In well over a year. So it'd be lovely just to see people, and have some sort of normality. So it'd be really good.
Oh, that's really cool, darling.
And I'm going to plant up like a table decoration, but with house plants.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, really nice. Well, as a demo, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
all made from house plants to go on a table. Yeah.
Have you got any calanchoe in it?
No, I haven't got any calanchoe. I've got a lovely orchid. I've got my nemesis, which is a maidenhair fern. Oh, God, but it's so pretty, the foliage.
Don't expect that to live.
It won't do here.
Oh, dear. You should put it, if that was me, I wouldn't even take it out of its pot. I'd just put it in the pot, and then I can easily then just put a new one in.
And then that's part of what I'm going to do. So, you could literally make a table decoration out of just having all of the pots collectively together.
That's cool.
In something, or
that's the best way to do houseplants, really, isn't it? Because they can be fussy buggers.
It also depends on what you like. If you've got all plants that all the same conditions, that's fine. You can probably do something with that. But
that's really cool, Ellen Mary.
It's about experimenting, isn't it? That's part of gardening. We always go so much by the rules and the theory, and it's how do we learn new things if we don't step out of the box and try something else?
And also, not everything has to be long term. That's the thing. I think everybody wants plants to be the same forever, but that's not realistic, really. So allow a bit of flair.
Like with your garden, it's constantly evolving. So why can't your house plants do that too?
Oh, Ellen, I could talk to you all day. But you'll tell me off in a minute. You'll be tapping your watch and saying, we're going over time.
Well, I know you could talk to me all day, but I don't want to talk to you all night. So,
well, as it happens, I've got EastEnders to watch. So go boil your head.
I'm only jesting with you, obviously. Look at these. I'll just show you these before I go.
Oh, for God's sake, I thought you were going. What's that? Iron Cross. Iron Cross?
Whole pile of begonia.
No, that's not Iron Cross. What's that called? I always forget. My grandma had it.
It's a Begonia Rex.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember the name.
Tell me the name.
Yeah, I don't know. That's nice. What are you doing? Leaf cuttings or what?
I'm going to do leaf cuttings, attempting to. We'll see how it goes.
Have you ever made that thing work where you cut out little squares of begonia leaf? No.
Never.
They used to show that in the Dr. Hessian books, but I don't know anyone that made it ever happen.
I actually done a video on leaf cuttings for the RHS a few years ago, and they didn't survive, I don't think. And I've tried to do begonia leaf cuttings before, actually hydrangeas as well, and they've never taken. Never. So,
oh my God.
But I'm going to give it a go
biggest
anyway.
Conspiracy of our time.
Everyone will us now going, well, I do it all the time and it works all of the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's have it then. Yeah.
Tell us your secrets if you do. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, defo. Coolio.
Right. Well, it's been lovely chatting. I'm now going to go have tomatoes on toast.
Cool. Oh, that's a really nice idea, Ellen Mary.
Tomato on toast is so delicious with pepper on top.
I always forget about that. I tell you what is nice as well. Do you ever have strawberries on toast?
No. But
with balsamic, like fresh strawberries?
Yeah, that's meant to be lush. I can't get my head around it.
Yeah, it's quite a Dutch thing. It's I can't remember if it's usually on toast or bread, but it works really nicely either way. Just mashed strawberries with some balsamic, if you like, as well. Yeah,
I think that is on toast. Someone posted about that today online. Was it you?
No.
So I read something somewhere online that said if you're not eating strawberries on toast right now, who even are you? Something like that.
Cool. But yeah, it's cool. I mean, you got to think outside the box, Ellen. Just keep evolving.
Gotta live life. Very good.
Yeah. All right, bye.
Always a pleasure chatting with you, despite the banter.
Yep, see ya. Bye.
I snored.
The music for the Bumblebees podcast is part of the song Grow by Mikey James, and our editor is Gareth Patch of Semi Echo.